Good morning, Lafayette. It's your meteorologist, Brian Burden, here early this morning on a Friday morning, May 1st. Can you believe it's May already? It just seems like it was April yesterday or something like that. But the year is going. It's just flying by so far. It seems like at least at the same general pace that it always has. But as they say, as you get older, it sure does seem to go by quicker and quicker, and that's what's been happening in my life. That is for sure. Hopefully, you are feeling maybe a little bit better about that than I am. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I don't mind being old at all. It's kind of a great thing. You got grandkids. You got all kinds of people look up to you, maybe think you know more than you do. Yeah, I'm on that category. They think I know more than I really do, unless it comes to weather, of course. And because I have some tests today, I've got to get out of here a little early. I'm starting up early. We'll go for a little bit. I'll try to cover as much as I can in about 20 minutes to a half hour here, and then I got to head out for those tests that take all day. It's an all-day test. I got to do some stuff this morning, and then I go back and they redo me and check my brain out later on this afternoon too to make sure there's something in there, if at all. All right, so let's get to the local weather. As you may well know, if you have stepped your toe outside the door this morning, it is chilly outside. Chilly, chilly, chilly. 43 degrees outside this morning. So it is definitely something that we haven't seen actually in a little while, it seems like. I know it's been cold, don't get me wrong, right? But we were down to like 35, 37 in some areas earlier this morning. And there is a frost and freeze advisory out for tomorrow morning in just about the entire northern half of Indiana. So we can kind of see it on this chart right here. You can see the red area is for freeze, right? Lafayette's right there, obviously. Everybody else is under a frost advisory for tomorrow morning. This morning, not quite worth it. We did get into the, like I said, probably 36 to 37 for some of us, around there, maybe 38. Just depends on where you were locally. And because of the mixture of clouds, it didn't get quite as cold as it could have. But tomorrow morning, looks like we'll clear out some of these clouds, and then you'll have a chance for that freeze being out there. But then again, it's not that far away, just off to our west. It's not that bad. So this is mainly for you to get in your plants, your crops that you're worried about that you've got planted that you can move anyway, right? Or maybe throw some protection over them if they're not doing very good with their that they don't like the cold, right? They can be killed every year. So, and remember, we have a chance for freezing temperatures out to like the 12th or 13th of May every year is when I believe the average last frost or freeze is at 32 degrees. On average, it's sometime in the first couple weeks of May, and that's where we are right now. And then it's going to be warm for a while. We won't have to worry about freezing until sometime in probably October, maybe September. Although it seems like last year we had some days in June, and boy, we got down there pretty good. It was chilly. All right, so what are we now? We're 43 degrees. Winds are out of the northwest at 9 miles an hour. That is a cold wind. That makes it feel like 36. Now, it probably feels like 30 to you out there right now today because we've been fairly warm as of late. Although it's been pretty windy, if you notice that. Even at 60, the wind makes it feel like, 50 degrees if it's a 15-knot wind out there. So it still feels chilly, definitely for sure. But the feels like temp says 36. I'd probably put it more like 30 for most of us. That's how we're feeling even with the 10-mile-an-hour wind. I know the charts say that, but that's probably what you feel, right? All right. It says we're going to get up to like 53 today. That's it, 52 tomorrow. And shows, the temperature is somewhere around 36 to 37 overnight. We'll check those charts out and see what they look like here in just a little bit. And then it warms up a little bit on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. Then we crash again next week, Wednesday and Thursday. So they're changing the timings on this a little bit, and they've bumped a little bit of the temperatures up. Like I try to tell you that anytime we're going to get some sunshine and we're going to not have a big wind, or we'll have a wind out of the southwest, that they undercut the temperature until it gets right to the day, and then sometimes right on the day it's finally at where it was. Like I'll tell you this might be 80 on Monday, right? Well, finally Sunday it'll come out and say 80, right? So that's how that kind of works. It's really weird, but as a forecaster, you kind of pick up on those things. And having looked at these for years and years and years, decades actually, I've seen a lot of the trends, especially here in the Lafayette area, just to give you a heads up. All right, so there it is, 53 degrees. Let's take a look at the satellite. What are we seeing? Well, the big picture says, look at the eastern half of the United States. It is high and dry. They're looking good. The southern half of the United States, if you call it the half, we'll call it the southern third of the United States, from Arizona all the way over to Florida, has plenty of cloud cover, showers, rain associated down there. We had a weak little system go over the Great Lakes here last night, and that brought us some rain overnight in many little areas around us. And I think there's still a little bit left on the radar right now, so we'll pick that up in a little bit. But that low is still up here. You notice where it is? It's in the same area, still rotating around. Everything is all your systems, and that's what we've seen the last couple of days. So we've seen this little one actually was up over here yesterday, right where Iowa is, right? Well, I think it was in western Iowa yesterday, and it swept in last night and brought us some of that rain last night. And we'll keep a chance for some scattered light showers, sprinkles more than anything throughout the day today. I think it's going to be in our forecast as we look at that. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's go into the subregions, get in closer to Lafayette here and take a look at it. Lafayette's right there, and you can see the cloud cover still over us. A lot of the grays are here, and that's a lot of your low clouds that you'll be seeing. And we will also be seeing some of the higher clouds, too, which were associated with some of the showers as they went through earlier. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this batch, because this is the batch that later in the day they say dives a little to the south of us. And that's where we could see some sprinkles or some light showers that are a little heavier out of that. Meanwhile, most of the clouds now coming off the backside of the lake and coming down will be probably more sprinkles, and that just an occasional very light shower once in a while in most places. So seems like most of the ball games will get in today. If you've got a Friday night baseball game, here we are in May, and it's still going to be chilly. Still going to be cold. I can remember Craig pitching, and it was like 33 degrees one day. And we were down in, where were we down? I think it was Westfield. Man, he was mowing them guys down. None of them wanted to swing that bat. I think he gave up one hit, if I remember. And that game ended up, I don't know, like 2-1. They didn't. I don't even think they won. I think they lost at the end. But it was a cold day. Flurries were coming down. Let's hope that doesn't happen again to us. That must have been in April. I remember he was in high school then. It was a long time ago. But it just goes to show you what you can get this time of the year still. There's still potential for snow out there. Maybe not in our forecast right now, but this time of the year you still could expect maybe a little bit of light snow. Low time. We're talking 10% chance throughout the early month of May, right? Maybe in April, it's the end of April, it's a 20% chance, but early April is more like 50-50 that you might see some snow. You see how it deteriorates and kind of dries up as it goes through the month of April. The chances get very slim. That's just averages we're talking about. All right, so let's slap the mosaic radar over here. There's the showers going through, and look at this. You can still see a couple little spots, right? Still that are significant enough, but they're falling apart as they get towards Lafayette right here. So we've got something just to the west right now of Lafayette that's showing up, and then that batch out in Iowa is also showing up. Very light. You see very light shower here or there. The heavier rains have already passed through and are moving to the east. And let's zoom in one more shot. I think we can get in a little closer. There's Lafayette right there. You can see it. So just to the west of town right now, out near Otterburn or Otterbein, if some of you don't know what the city is. Otterburn out there to our west, maybe just having gone through Fowler, maybe up near Rensselaer. We're going to hit the Camerons here in a second. Maybe we'll catch one of those showers. And then there's a stray shower moving down towards Terre Haute right now. But you notice they're all losing their intensity. You notice that? They're thicker. The brighter yellows and a little bit there, and then they just fade into the blues and get smaller. So the intensity is being lost as it gets closer and closer to us. Let's see what it looks like on some of those cameras, especially up there to the north, right? Let's go out to the Fowler camera for our Fowler daily count. Fowler daily count today is 0. We can't count the lights way off in the distance. But what do we see? We see lots of low clouds, and I see a fairly dry pavement. So They've not had anything as of late. And then I see some really low clouds. So that's kind of what you're going to see. This brightness where you see a mix of maybe the sun trying to come out at times, right? And then you're going to see some clouds in there. And then you're going to see some spots where it's just totally overcast and there's a little light shower running through there. It's only 3 miles wide and it's raining in that one spot. That's the kind of thing we're going to see today for sure, it looks like, at least for us, I think. And then let's go back to this and pop the satellite on there real quick. Let me see if I can get that. Let's go to the visual. I'll show you guys that. And so here's the visual showing that. You can see the cracks and open spots all over the place, right? And farther back you go, the more open it becomes back in here as we get into the morning hours, right? And and then you see you got a mixture. You got your clouds in the upper levels kind of moving off to the northeast. Well, we'll call it east more than anything else. This is rotating out of the northwest in over our area right now. And then we're seeing these holes and these gaps. But there's a little bit of intensity every once in a while, and it's kind of like a shotgun almost back there that you're looking at, all right? So that's where we're at. Let's see what it is up at Rensselaer. What are they doing for their look at this. Look at this. Let's make sure this is the right day. May 7th at 7:38 in the morning. So, they're a different time zone up there, aren't they? Okay, so I see a little bit of sun up there. So you can see there are some holes in this already. Let's look at the other side of the road, right? So, because we've got the construction side, which is on the south side, I believe. There you go. Look at that. And then look at this. See the darkness you can see right there off to their, this is to their west, right? Well, let's see. We've got shadows coming down on the ground right here. So we know that we're looking towards the west, right? Pretty much. And even northwest. And it says northwest in the corner. I don't know if you guys can see the northwest sign there. But you can see this off in the distance. Look at how dark it is over there. Yet here's the sun shining right there. That is exactly what we are going to run into today. You go a little bit farther south, a little more sunshine on State Road 231 junction, and this great camera that they have pointed at the ground at the moment. I'm bummed out about that. I would like to see a little more sky for them. There we go. There's some blue on this one in the Remington shot, right? But you can still see the darkness in different areas. But there is some sun popping out on the ground in different places. As we head closer to Lafayette, the other side of the highway, 231 again. I don't see any rain in the fields. That's good. Or no water in the fields. We'll call it that. When we go farther south, the 231 junction again on the other side, I can see some dark clouds off in the distance there. All right, so that's giving you kind of that indicator. And then we get down to State Road 18, and here's a good shot. You see some lights, you see some darks, you see some open spots, maybe a little light rain coming down off in the distance right there. That looks like rain coming out of the cloud, because you can see the cloud here, but you can see it looks like rain underneath it. You can see that pretty easily, so there's a scattered rain shower. Then you go over to 43, and you get some of the darknesses right at the top of the picture there, and some lightness right there too. And then you can see it's pretty bright in the local area around State Road 43 where it crosses 65. And looking back from 25 towards 43, back up the hill, we see a big bright spot there, and we see some dark on each side. Camera's just not great enough picture for us at all. It would be nice if it had like that one that's up farther there at 231. All right, so here we are over at the 26 State Road exit, and you can see more of the same. Some lower clouds, some higher clouds, some low clouds in the distance, real low, kind of packed in towards the ground, giving you that foggy, drizzly feel. And then as you look towards the south, you see a lot more of the drizzles. Looks like rain coming out to the south here in different places. Very low clouds here, probably in that 1,500-foot range if you're an aviation pilot guy out there. You go down to Frankfort, though, you do see some of the rain still in the fields that has fallen overnight last night and what we've had over the last week or so. They went dry for a while, I think early last week, and now they've started picking up more rain in these specific fields here. We've seen that for a little bit now. So let's come back into town real quick, see if we're seeing any sun over on the west side. No real sun. Right now I see some darker clouds overhead there, so maybe they're running into something there. Let's see if they have done anything with the Purdue camera. All right. Nope, still pointed at the ground. All right, great. We needed that. How about River Road? Nope. Let's see, went the wrong direction. Here we go. River Road right here. Oh, it's not shaking today. It looks like it's sturdy. Now, I don't know if that's a wind effect or if there was just something wrong with the camera, but we can see some dark skies. All right, here off in the horizon, we see some lighter clouds. That's some openings, a little bit easier, where you can see the sun through. And then here's something that's a little less dark, right? And then that's your potential for that right there. And then we go over to the mall, and the mall looks busy on a Friday morning so far this morning. All right, that's it. Let's get back into the models real quick here and see where everything's at. Well, the model already has the rain pushed off, right? Here we are at 9 o'clock this morning, and it's in a good spot. That's about where it's going to be. We see a couple sprinkles left behind the system, right? And as we move that along in the big picture, we see that there's not much behind it, but watch what pops up. See the little sprinkles, little light green right over here. Lafayette's right here. There's a green, three green spots there. Not sure if you'll be able to see them on your screen or not, but they're there, and then they kind of just push through. And then notice how they're popping up. Now they're getting thicker. This is into the evening hours. This is now 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's a couple scattered showers right there in the Lafayette area. I go back one shot, and that's 4 o'clock, and it just shows scattered stuff starting to pop up off the lake. That little band out towards the east of eastern Indiana. And then here's that stuff that's out to the west in Iowa, still just starting to get going, really. And there you go. You have that shower around 5. Perfect timing for a baseball game tonight, right? It doesn't look like much, but if it hits your baseball game, you'll know it, right? All right. And it'll be a chilly rain, too. 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock still shows just an isolated, a scattered shower out and about. Very, very limited, right? But it's there. It's something to keep in mind. Then we go out to midnight. Midnight looks pretty quiet, and here's that little batch that I was telling you about that we would talk about. There it is. Looks like it wants to dive. Right now, it's on the angle to go just south of us, and it's not much of anything either. It's more sprinkles. Look at that. It does pop up some sprinkles and light rain over us tomorrow morning at around 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So kind of drizzly, gloomy kind of feel. Look at that. Then it keeps some rain just to the south of us, some rain showers here at 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Most of tomorrow looks pretty good, but you notice how close that batch is, right? It's right here. It's only 10, 20 miles from us. If this is just a little farther north, we could get into some of that. And then obviously if it's a little farther south, it may miss us totally, all right? And then we kind of go through that, and it's gone, but it takes all day almost. Here we are. Now we're into like 4 o'clock again tomorrow afternoon before it clears out of the area. And it looks like south of town has a better chance if you're mixed in with that, and southwest of town. So from Attica over to Crawfordsville has a better chance of running into some of that rain. And then that big old high takes over. You can see it there. The high... Look at where it is on the chart. Here it is by tomorrow in the morning hours. It's out over Kansas and Nebraska, right? Kansas and Nebraska here. And then there's this little minor low here kind of trying to go around the high, right? What's the flow around the high? The flow is out of the north, basically, on this side of the high. We are on the east of the high. And then the high kind of just keeps moving. Maybe the high is knocking the system down and losing its power with it, and then the high just kind of takes over. But that's what's going to draw in some of the cold tomorrow morning. As I look at this right now, I go back to, say, tomorrow morning, and you can see there's a chance for some showers, and there's some cloudiness over us at that time frame, which will keep the temperatures. You notice all the freeze warnings are like this. And they're not where the rain is, right? They're not there. So that's because of the cloud cover that will be associated with this band right here, partially helping to warm it up a little bit. Because the clouds are like a blanket at night, right? And if they disappear, then the warmth that was there during the day disappears into the atmosphere, moves into the atmosphere. All right, so let's go in closer, though, and look at this, so we can see it, see how close some of those few little showers are, give you a heads up on it. So here we are today. There's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, just shows those sprinkles. We're seeing that. The satellite confirmed that. The radar confirmed it. There's a couple sprinkles later this afternoon around noon, 2 o'clock, maybe something, It's going to be very hit and miss with that. And then this afternoon, we get a little bit more. We see a little more popping up here and there, right? This is 5 o'clock right here, 5 o'clock, and a couple showers, especially south of town. But what if they pop up? You don't see it there at 4. Right, here's 4 o'clock, you don't see anything, and at 5 o'clock, there it is. Well, what if that pops up just north of town, right? That's what we're going to see. And what if we don't get anything out of this? This makes me lean towards very limited chances for showers, right? And you're talking 10% to 20% chance of somebody getting something, but if you're south of town, say at McCutcheon, and it starts raining right there, you're like, that guy doesn't know anything. Well, this is how you forecast a shotgun type of look where it's here and there in different places. And that shotgun shot from a long ways away and you're just getting a couple pellets. And if you're under one of those little pellet areas, then you're going to get some of that rain. So there you go. You see that little wave just, late into the evening hours. Here we are at 8 o'clock and it's pretty much gone. But it was here from about, 4 to 7. You have a chance for a scattered shower, and that's right when the ball games will be. What we can say, though, is when you look at that is, first off, it looks to be very light, could be more sprinkles than it is anything else, and it probably will clear pretty quickly, and you'll be able to get your ball game going, and it won't mess the fields up too much, I don't think, because they've had all day to fix them. And then we go through into midnight. Here's midnight, and we see this little system out here to our west, and then watch what it does during the morning. There it is. There's a little chance for some showers there at 4 in the morning starting to pop up, just over towards Otterburn and then back over towards Rantoul in Illinois and over that area. And then it kind of comes through 5, 6, 7. See, this is the coldest time of the day for us usually. And tomorrow will be no different, but we may have cloud cover from this over us, which will keep us a little warmer. And then there you go. Just this rain, this annoyance rain is just south of town. There we are at 10 o'clock, 11, 12. See it again, but there's still one lone shower. Well, what if you're under that lone shower? So there you go. It's kind of like throwing paint on a canvas from a distance away. You're going to get splatters all over the place. But that could annoy you tomorrow, right? By 4 o'clock, it's clearing out, though, by tomorrow afternoon, and it's pretty much gone. But that little annoyance could be ruining a nice Saturday, even though it's going to be chilly all the way around. All right, so let's take a look at the temperatures. Here we are this morning. We'll switch it over. We'll get into those. And then I'll get myself out of here for this morning. All right, here we are, 43 degrees, 44 this morning. What are they saying we are now? They have updated us to 42. We went from 43 to 42, so we're bouncing around temperature-wise. All right. Now, so here we are this morning, 44, 45. Shows us maybe getting up to like 51, 52, somewhere in there this afternoon. It's warm out to our west. If you call 60 warm for May, that's cold though, right? Where should we be in May? May 1st, we should have a temperature of 68 for our highs and 46 for our lows. So we're below the low already, and we're way below the high for this afternoon. So there you go. Now here's tomorrow morning, and you can see the influence of the pocket of clouds right here. Right through central Illinois, right over to Lafayette and down, which makes me feel better. Those of us on the north side of town have a better chance of running into the frost than you on the south side of town. But you on the south side of town have a better chance of running into a shower tomorrow than we do on the north side of town. Just in, the isolated chances. And then the cold. You can see the cold's here. Now they're going for freeze warnings all the way up to just north of us. Monticello's in a freeze warning area put out because theirs was put out by northern Indiana. So they have them in a freeze warning area. But for Lafayette, not so much. Not so much. Here we are tomorrow morning, and this is at 7 o'clock, and you can see the coldest, and you can see some streaks out on the edges where there will be the edges of clouds. Well, here there's no clouds, right? Bam. So that's where your freezing line is going to be, somewhere in there. And there'll be a pocket of clouds that will keep us from getting too cold tomorrow morning. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then we don't rebound much tomorrow either. Look at that. We're still in the 50s to 52s. We're cut off from any warmth right now. It's all south of us. We have a northerly wind consistently out of the north, and that is going to continue to keep us cold for a couple of days here before we finally get out of it a bit. All right. So here's what we've got going right now. I'm going to go back to here for your long range. You got 53 today, maybe 52 maybe tomorrow. Near freezing tomorrow morning in spots, especially north of town. South of town, probably 37, something like that. You won't get as cold. Maybe only hit 40, as a matter of fact. South of town could be. Spotty rain this evening, very spotty, sprinkles to light rain. Same thing again overnight, possible. Then clearing out. 63 on Sunday for a better day, right? And then you see there's still just these isolated little chances of rain here or there on Saturday. Then Sunday shows a little bit better chance of some very light rain coming through. And when we looked at this yesterday, it didn't look that bad. What looked bad was going into Monday into Tuesday, and there it is. We warm up in front of the next big system coming in to like 77, and remember, I'll probably bump that to 80 on Monday. And then Tuesday, you have rain in the morning, you have rain during the day, you have that system coming through, and look what happens. Down goes the temperatures. Down goes Fraser. We're back down into the 50s for our highs on Wednesday and Thursday. And wouldn't be surprised if one of these bumps into the lower 50s with a low temperature somewhere in the 30 potential too. So we may be doing the frost dance again next week. We'll have to see how this system sets up as we get closer and closer to it. And then maybe some 60s by the end of next week. And still, these are below normal. Remember, now by the 10th of May, we should be somewhere up in the 70, 71, 72 range for an average high for this time of the year. So only like 2 days out of the next 10. So we'll call it definitely below normal, right, for the next time frame. So that's that there. That's what you're seeing. I've done it for today, guys. 42 right now. Winds out of the northwest at 8 miles an hour. Feels like 38 my buttocks. It feels more like 32 out there for sure, especially if you're out pumping gas and you're feeling bad because gas is $5 a gallon or close to it, all right? It'll change. This thing will get all settled and it'll drop again here in the next month. But till then, try not to drive too much, all right? And of course, this was Free for All Friday. Normally, I just do whatever, but I just didn't have the time today because of a doctor's appointment. But I would like to say a prayer before we get out of here. And for everyone out there, I hope that you have a blessed week. Believe in the name of Jesus, and he will bring you the blessings that you think you deserve. Although they may not be the exact ones you think you deserve. They're just the blessings that he can pour out to you. As you get older, those blessings change, and you realize that your family becomes more important, and that God's more important, that Jesus is more important, and will guide you through your life. And I want that for each and every one of you out there. And I ask that your week is good, strong, and solid. Your weekend is great, and that you get to see your family, and you get to enjoy some time with them also. It's in your name we pray. Amen. See you guys Monday.